Teme voi!
This is Faustino Oro. He's just 10 years old and already an international master. That's just one step away from Grandmaster, the highest title in chess. He's known as Lionel Chessi. He's incredible. Why? Because he's spanking up top players already, including Hikaru Nakamura. Do we need to introduce him? The greatest blitz player on chess.com, pretty much. Him and Magnus Carlsen, neck and neck. What a game this is. Let's dissect it. Faustino kicks off here with pawn to e4. Best by test, said Bobby Fischer. This is online, 3-minute blitz chess, played 3rd of July 2024. So Hikaru plays pawn to c ships, the solid Caro-Kann defense. d4, Faustino yells on guard, takes the center, and these are the top couple of moves for black. But what we see instead is pawn g6. Hikaru builds the banana hammock here. He's preparing to fianchetto. We get knight f3 with a Winnie and d5 for the high five, challenging the center. Knight c3 played, covering the pawn. Hikaru fianchettos the sniper and h3 takes away the g4 square. This one's important in the defense of the center. We get captures on e4. Knight recaptures, knight f6, and the death knell tolls for these two ponies. They leave the board with a death Winnie. Why did Hikaru take with the pawn, not the bishop? Well, it's dynamic, right? He's mixing it up. He's the stronger player. f5 on the way one day to liberate the bishop. Bishop e2 now played. Both players castle, do a king safety wink, and knight d7 developing. Bishop f4, rook e8. It's great developing chess from both players, and I reckon I'd be going c3 here. Queen d2, something kind of steady and passive. Get walloped by Hikaru in about 15 more moves. But what do we see from Faustino? Pawn to c4, the most explosive move. Love this, looking for d5 one day, create the passer, and now knight f8. Hikaru whispers no mate. That's what they say about a knight on f8. Keeps the king safe. Queen d2, rook's connected, very nice, and bishop f5. We've got ourselves a giant Jenga tower on the f-file. Beautiful stuff. Rook fe1 though, it's immediately got the rug pulled out from underneath it. Queen d7, Hikaru connects his rooks, and after rook ad1, Hikaru, not to be outdone, brings his rook to the center, and they're staring down like ships lined up against each other. The broadside cannons preparing to fire, and now white needs a plan. You can go for an immediate d5, but I love this. 2 minutes 37 seconds. Faustino goes bishop e3 in a second. He is putting clock pressure on top players. Very impressive. Doesn't really change the position much. Hikaru goes g5 now, preparing to tuck back the bishop. And again we get queen b4, an active move, opening the rook. b6 from Hikaru, just keeping an eye on this sensitive pawn. Knight d2 now, not best according to the engine, an immediate d5 better, but we don't always have to listen to stock squid, right? Now knight e6 played, pressure on the center, and knight f1 opens up the rook. This bishop tucks back to g6, the f-pawn preparing to push, and Faustino says, right, I've got to take the bull by the horns here, takes the fight to Hikaru with pawn to d5. Excellent move. Best now is knight f4, although the bishop can take. You get tripled pawns, Irish pawns as they call them, but black gets really good counterplay with the bishops. Different game. Wasn't played. Hikaru goes for c5 here, very tricky move. If white takes this knight, not played, then this is the trick. You sacrifice the queen on d1 here. And this is how the top line goes. Taken with check, bishop recaptures, and now saving the queen is best. You can take the rook, and this is how the line goes. Black emerges what? An exchange ahead, doing well. So that was the trick. After c5, if you take here, but not played. Faustino correctly goes queen to d2. This guy is a tactics beast. He's done like 10,000 plus puzzles on chess.com. That's how you get good at chess. People always ask how to improve. Just do endless puzzles, right? It's not gonna hurt. Hikaru goes knight d4. Why is he sacrificing a pawn which was duly captured? Well, if he didn't do it, then it gets a bit passive. What's he going for here? F5. Look at the two Bs. They've had their eyes opened. Queen D2. F4 now played. What a picture they create. And now how many players are just playing a bit passive here? Pawn B3, let's say, and Hikaru slowly takes over. Maybe rotates the bishop round here. Not Faustino. He plays pawn to B4. B4, Hikaru can chop it off the board or take control. He's preparing to push P down the board. They're coming down like Space Invaders. Prawn-ageddon, Hikaru goes Queen A4, and it's a really cunning plan because after C5, excellent move. Now we see Queen A3. Hikaru just crept in, improved the queen, and he's got a threat. Bishop C3, win an exchange. Now Bishop B5, the preferred move of Stockwell, but we don't see it. Rook C1 is played, covering that sensitive square. Very natural, and now Hikaru's got a good move here, keeps a balance, but he misses it. He should play Bishop to B2, and it's uncomfortable for this rook. You know, both bishops slicing down here, excuse me, flying my throat. And now the best move here would actually be to go pawn D6, sacrifice an exchange. Because if you go here, starts to become a problem when bishop C3 comes on the board anyway. So this was the way to go. Do this one, let white go D6, sack an exchange. It's a balanced game apparently. Again, missed by Hikaru. No bishop B2. Instead, what does he play here? Pawn A5. Very ambitious, trying to break up the chain. You know, you take here, I take here, your pawns are in trouble. But there's an excellent response for white. Faustino finds it. What a player, what a tactical beast. He goes pawn C6. Push him, baby. Yasser Serwan proud. Now Hikaru goes bishop b2, looking for the play, but again, the rook doesn't move. Faustino sees the way. He sees the way to go with pawn to c7 here. No idea why I said he sees the way twice. Been a long day. Now we see bishop takes on c1. Now why didn't we see rook c8 here? Then d6 comes. Boy, are you in trouble. You're going to Forktown soon. So instead, sorry, carrying on the line, let me rewind. We see an immediate bishop takes on c1, hitting the queen. Does Faustino care? No. He takes the rook on d8, creates a second queen. We've got three ladies on the board. There's a leading lady. Modern screenwriters loving it. Strong female leads everywhere. And after rook recaptures here, you could take on d2, different lines, but it's no good. Then you take with check. White is killing it. This was the best way to go. Rook takes on c1 was now played in response. And Faustino has emerged a knight ahead. The pawns were telling, created the pressure. Now we see a takes on b4 and rook c6. Going after b6, activating, I mean, the classiness with which Faustino proceeds this next part of the game is unreal. We get b3, a takes, queen captures here, and there's pressure on d5. b6 defended. So bishop c4 played, queen a4 now, pressuring rook, pressuring bishop, but he's just keeping up with Hikaru on the clock here. Queen c3, excellent move, found in 4 seconds. You know, no hesitation about the play. Queen d1 now played, coming behind the pawn, stopping d6 for example. And now we see queen b3, sorry, bishop b3. Such a steady move. Just kicks the queen off the d file. So queen b1 played here. Now queen f6. And it really is just impressive stuff. Leaving the bishop hanging, but going after the rook. Controlling the queening square. What does Hikaru do? He's got to save his rook. d6 is already very powerful. You can even sacrifice this sniper, but instead we see bishop c4, and here Hikaru just doesn't play best. He should go for an immediate queen f5, but it's so tricky. He's down a piece after all. So he goes b5, trying for the tricks, but again, cool and composed. Faustino goes rook b6, pin and win, baby. Queen f5 now played. Hikaru desperate to head for the endgame, try his chances here. This pawn drops off the board, cannon under fire, saves itself, comes behind the pawn here. Good play by Hikaru, defensive but also attacking, and now more good chess. f3, preparing to bomb cloud. King g7, king f2, both monarchs marching in. You've got to activate them in the end game. King e2 hits the rook, therefore it slides to b1, and knight d2. This is the point of getting the king out. You can activate this knight, rook b2 pins, d7, it's on its way, run forest, the king just covers, and now rook b7. Covering that pawn, everything protected here, and this is classy because after h5 we get king d1, knight c4 on the way, then it could be headed for e5, c6, queen being made. So Hikaru tries one last desperate trick. You know, he could go here or something, but he goes for this bishop d3 move, putting the pressure on that bishop on b5, but it's a blunder, as you can see. He was hugely under pressure. Faustino now finds the winning idea. Well then, if you can see the move, it's rook to b8 with the queen being made next. It's absolutely inevitable. There's nothing you can do to stop it. This bishop left the pressure here, and here Hikaru resigns the game. An extra queen is more than enough to clinch it.
Vamos, ganamos Hikaru, gente. Me voy. 3017. Que voy a los 3100. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Ahora sí que sí. Ahora. Era ahora. Nos toca un rival accesibilísimo. Va.
Absolutely incredible, and smash subscribe because I've got another game between these two guys coming tomorrow. Absolutely incredible chess from this young man. Hope you enjoyed, and check out the video on screen if you want to see Faustino playing Magnus Carlsen. Bullet chess, brilliance, what a game. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon.